Hello, my friend. If you are like me, you kind of get a vibe from a brand. Either it's their social media, or it's products that you've tried that you've purchased and they've let you down, or something happens with the people that own the brands or are affiliated with the brands that just give you kind of an icky feeling. You know what I'm talking about? There are certain brands that I've just kind of stepped away from, that I've looked at, and now it's like, there's so many makeup brands out there. I don't really want to buy from these brands anymore. So if you are curious about 7 brands that I have decided that I'm probably not going to buy anything from anymore, at least in the near future, hang tight. We're getting into it right now. So like I mentioned, I may buy some things from some of these brands in the future because you never know what the future may hold, but as of now, I have no intentions of purchasing anything from these companies. So let's go ahead and get into the first one. All right, this one isn't gonna be a shocker for some of you. Too Faced Cosmetics. I'm just so, the word is disenchanted. I am so disenchanted with Too Faced just as a brand. I feel like when they sold to Estee Lauder, they lost the magic that was Too Faced as far as the formulas and the passion behind the brand. It just became extremely commercialized, and I really started to notice it when these highlighters came out and right around this time. So this is the Diamond Fire shade of highlighter, and this kind of encompasses Too Faced for me now, is this gorgeous, beautiful packaging with products that are just so mediocre to bad. And I know some of you really like these highlighters, but they're ones that I personally find to be extremely lacking. Let me just show you. Now, once I got past the outside of it, there was like a film on the outside, it did get a bit better. You notice the Too Faced stamp that was in there that said Too Faced is gone, but it's there, but then the more you blend it out, it just kind of disappears, and it's just lacking. And I found that every palette that I was getting from them, every product that I was getting from them just seemed to have less quality, just seemed to not perform as well, the lipsticks seemed to be more drying and the eyeshadows were less pigmented, but the packaging was gorgeous. It's like they went all in on packaging, but just completely let go of the quality of the products. And I just feel like I can't trust the brand to produce something that I want to use every day. So that's why I stopped buying from Too Faced. Well, and then Jared Blandino did some crap too that I was like, ugh. So that kind of added to it and was kind of the nail in the coffin for me. The next brand is a product quality issue, and that's Smashbox. Smashbox started letting me down a couple of years ago where I would buy eyeshadow palettes from them and it was like, what the heck is even happening here? It just turned to straight mud on my eyes, and everything, no fail, everything I bought from Smashbox, I was like, what the heck even is this? Like, this is not good. And it's again, I feel like it's these brands that they start making money and then they start sacrificing on testing the products ahead of time to make sure that they are good and functional products for consumers. If you have any Smashbox products that you currently love that are newer products, I would love to know what they are. I personally, they're like completely off my radar at this point. Have you seen anything even released from Smashbox recently? I don't remember really talking about them much in What's Up in Makeup except for like maybe at QVC or HSN with like the gift sets and things. I just feel like they've completely fallen off, and maybe because people stopped buying their stuff because they were just putting out this mediocre quality. But I'd love to know what you think. All right, NYX. For a while, I was buying NYX eyeshadows and they were very hit and miss for me. Sometimes I would really love it and sometimes it'd be like, what the heck is even happening? I loved their liquid eyeliner for the longest time, and then I felt like they changed the formula on it. I never liked the lip lingeries. They were too dry for me. And then I realized the number of NYX products that they were producing, I guess about a year ago, was obnoxious. It was like Makeup Revolution. It was like a new set of products every single week. It was too much. And then they started jacking up the prices. The eyeshadow palettes went from being $15 to $30. And I was like, what is even happening over here? Like, what are you guys doing? And then I just stopped hearing about NYX altogether. They seem to stop releasing as many products. Like maybe they just stopped buying the products because they weren't as consistent in quality. I don't know. What has been your experience with NYX? Do you feel the same way, that you're just kind of over it and done with it? I think NYX can come back. I do. I think they can. But I think that they need to just have that hero product again. They need to just create something that's really good at a lower price point. e.l.f. is doing it. e.l.f. is crushing it right now. Like, I never thought I would say that. But e.l.f. is crushing it right now. And NYX is at a higher price point than e.l.f. So if e.l.f. can do it, I know NYX can do it.
Everyone always keep falling in love again. The fuck's wrong with them?
All right, this is the only skincare brand that I have in here because I feel so passionate about it, and it's Philosophy. I used to love their bath products. I remember I had this sample size when I was in college. It was a sample size of their Red Velvet body wash, and I used that thing so sparingly because I could not afford to go to the store and get a full size. So I used that thing just like when I was going on a night out and I wanted my skin to smell really good, or if I was going on a date night or something like that. I would use this specifically just for special occasions. I don't even know where I got that small bottle from, but oh my gosh, it was like liquid gold because it just smelled so good. It smelled exactly like red velvet cake, which is my favorite kind of cake. But as I started getting into ingredients and looking at the ingredients of their products, their cleansers are harsh. I personally don't have a problem with fragrance in wash-off products. I feel like you wash it off enough, and I wear perfume. I'm not a super anti-fragrance kind of person, but when it comes to their skincare, all of their skincare is fragranced, and honestly, for the price point, you really don't get a good bang for your buck for most of their products. A lot of it is just very basic at the core of it, and it's kind of disappointing. So I've just completely stopped buying Philosophy altogether. I mean, will I buy one of their body washes maybe again one day? Maybe, but it's just such an expensive price point for such harsh cleansers. I don't know. I don't know if I'm ever gonna buy anything from Philosophy ever again. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Now this one made me a little sad to include, but it's Sephora Collection. And I think I just really wanted to like Sephora Collection. I think I did. I remember I had one of my subscribers really loved their concealer. I ended up purchasing it on her recommendation, and I used it, and at the time I thought I really liked it, but then the more I used it, I was like, I don't really like this as much as I thought I did. Like, it was just, I don't know, like it didn't have the coverage that I wanted it to have or the lasting power that I wanted it to have. And it seems like pretty much every Sephora Collection product that I get is very mediocre. The last thing that I purchased that I really liked were those big solid pro palette things, but I never reach for them. I don't know why. I think it's because they're so hard packed into the pans that maybe it's just a little bit off-putting, like how hard it is to get the product off. I mean, it's not all of the products that are in those sets, but some of them are just a little difficult to work with. I don't know. I just don't find joy when I pull them out. I don't get that happy feeling to pull it out. I'm more like forcing myself to use it because I bought it, you know? You know that feeling when you're just like, well, I bought it, so I should use it, and it's not really bringing you the joy that makeup should give you. So that's kind of the way I feel about Sephora Collection. It's like, it's just a lot of gimmicky, mediocre stuff for the most part, and it makes me sad. At least the stuff that's interesting to me is gimmicky, and I'm thinking is probably mediocre because that's my experience. I don't know. I need to hear your thoughts.
And yeah, I know we both wanted different things, but letting go just comes easy to you, don't.
Okay, two more, and these are probably the most controversial. So let's talk about ABH. ABH was my favorite makeup brand for the longest time. I was collecting their palettes. Every time a palette would come out, I would buy it. I did that all the way through to the Sultry palette. And then after that, they started doing like the mass producing of their palettes to maximize profits, which makes sense, you know, that you release more things so that you can make more money because they're a business. And once I couldn't collect them anymore because it was just getting to be too much. It was like, I kind of lost my heart for it. And then there were some things with Norvina on social media. And I think that why this is such a departure for me is because I felt like Norvina was so connected to the community, that she was an influencer herself almost, that she was kind of one of us. And then all of a sudden there was like a switch that flipped and she became a business person, a brand instead of one of us. And it just felt wrong. And once I wasn't collecting the palettes anymore, it was like, why am I even buying these? You know what I mean? Like I bought the Jackie Aina palette, loved that. I guess again, I'm just disenchanted with the brand. Nothing that they've been releasing recently has made me go, yes, I'm excited about this. I don't know. And I also feel like a lot of their marketing is to Gen Z and not to me. I feel like they definitely seem to favor a younger audience, which is fine. It's totally okay. I mean, you have to have your target market. And I just feel like it's not me, you know? So not that I'll never buy ABH ever again, because I may, but it's just kind of like, I don't know. Like I just don't have that passion that I used to, and it kind of makes me sad.
Why am I the only one who's left in the rain?
And the last one that I cannot avoid, that I definitely want to talk about, is Jeffree Star Cosmetics. So this is something I've wanted to address and really talk about for a while. And to be honest, the first time I bought Jeffree Star Cosmetics was right after launch. I bought the Beauty Killer palette. And that was when I started realizing how quote unquote problematic Jeffree was. And I decided I wasn't going to purchase from the brand anymore. And after a while, after a couple of years, I was getting all of these messages in my comment section telling me how hypocritical I was for not reviewing Jeffree's products when I was reviewing Too Faced products and Jared Blandino was problematic, and I was reviewing so-and-so brand and they weren't cruelty-free. I was reviewing this brand and they were doing this, and I was reviewing this brand and I wasn't doing this. So if all these brands are problematic, why are you singling out Jeffree as somebody that you won't review, but you review all of these other brands? And I was like, you know what? You're right. Like, I don't want to be a hypocrite. I don't want to be hypocritical. And I released a video talking about how I was just going to review everybody at this point because I didn't want to be a hypocrite. I wanted to, give everybody a fair shot. And I decided to go more with the, let's not talk about the people behind it. Let's just talk about the products. And I didn't go with my heart. I didn't go with my gut. I went with my brain instead, trying to logic my way out of it. And I wish I had gone with my heart, because I've always seen Jeffree as somebody that presents himself as someone that I would never be friends with. There's so much going on with him and who he presents himself to be as a person, as somebody that I just wouldn't get along with. I just don't, I don't vibe with his vibe. And I guess it was like maybe, 6 months ago, something like that. I just decided, I was like, you know what? I was like, I'm going to review brands that I want to review. If I don't like somebody or if I don't like a brand, there's so many other brands I can review. Why review products from a brand where I don't think the owner is a good person? And that's just the way that I feel. I don't think that he's a good person. And I watched a video recently by a guy named T1J is his YouTube channel. And the video that I watched was Stop Trying to Fix People. And I'm going to go ahead and insert a clip from that video now to kind of talk to you about where I'm coming from.
Of course, people can change and evolve, but by and large, it seems to be the case that adult humans are the way they're gonna be for the most part. And when people do change, it's almost always very gradual and rarely based on their interactions with a single person. I've talked before about how there's actual research that supports the idea that people go through several stages before making any significant change within themselves. And most of these stages require action on their part. Unfortunately, you can't control other people. Even if you make an amazing argument, you can't force people to do anything about it. They have to be willing in the first place to even be open to the idea that they might be wrong about something. And even if they decide that maybe they could improve on something, they then have to develop a plan of action towards that improvement and then actively carry it out. That's a lot to ask for most people, especially people who don't see any good reason to do it. Part of being a mature adult is learning to coexist with people who think differently than you even in ways you think are harmful. And this applies to your loved ones as well. I think you should feel free to express yourself and stand up for what you believe in and what you think is right. But you should also understand that you're probably not going to change anyone's minds, at least not anytime soon. That rarely happens.
So yes, absolutely, we should give people room to grow and to change and to be better, but Jeffree doesn't need to fix himself for me or for anybody else. He is who he is, and I shouldn't expect him to change. That's just the way that he is, and I don't like it. And that's okay, but I don't have to buy his makeup either. It just fundamentally, we're just on different pages on so many different things. I have absolutely zero intention of buying anything from him ever again. So anyway, at this point, my friend, it is your turn in the collective brain of makeup awesomeness, where we help each other not to buy crap and to buy things that are totally worth it. I would love to know what brands you have stopped purchasing from for one reason or another, or brands that maybe you didn't purchase from and you've changed your mind and decided to purchase from them again. Now that would be an interesting video as well. Thank you so much for watching this video. I appreciate you. If you would like to hang out a little bit longer, YouTube should be recommending a video for you right down there to watch. But if it's your time to go, it's no problem at all. Thank you so much for hanging out as long as you did. Mad love to you, and I will see you in a video very, very soon. Bye!